Randall Hughes with GodGlorified.com, and we're doing our Bible reading for today for March the 15th. And today's reading will be beginning with Deuteronomy chapter 8 from the Reese Chronological Bible. And it reads, "All the commandments which I command thee this day shall ye observe to do, that ye may live and multiply and go in and possess the land which Yahweh sware unto your fathers. And thou shalt remember all the way which Yahweh thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness, to humble thee and to prove thee, to know what was in thy heart, whether thou wouldest keep his commandments or no. And he humbled thee, and suffered thee to hunger, and fed thee with manna which thou knewest not, neither did thy fathers know, that he might make thee know that man doth not live by bread only, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of Yahweh doth man live. Thy raiment waxed not old upon thee, neither did thy foot swell for 40 years. Thou shalt also consider in thine heart that as a man chasteneth his son, so Yahweh thy God chasteneth thee. Therefore thou shalt keep the commandments of Yahweh thy God, to walk in his ways and to fear him. For Yahweh thy God bringeth thee into a good land, a land of brooks, of water, and of fountains and depths that spring out of valleys and hills, a land of wheat and barley and vines and fig trees and pomegranates, a land of oil, olive, and honey, a land wherein thou shalt eat bread without scarceness. Thou shalt not lack anything in it, a land whose stones are iron, and out of whose hills thou mayest dig brass. When thou hast eaten and art full, then thou shalt bless Yahweh thy God for the good land which he hath given thee. Beware that thou forget not Yahweh thy God in not keeping his commandments and his judgments and his statutes, which I command thee this day. Lest when thou hast eaten and art full, and hast built goodly houses and dwell therein, and when thine herds and thy flocks multiply, and thy silver and thy gold is multiplied, and all that thou hast is multiplied, then thine heart be lifted up, and thou forget Yahweh thy God, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage, who led thee through that great and terrible wilderness, wherein there were fiery serpents and scorpions and drought, where there was no water, who brought thee forth water out of the rock of flint, who fed thee in the wilderness with manna, which thy fathers knew not, that he might humble thee, and that he might prove thee, to do thee good at thy latter end. And thou say in thine heart, My power and the might of my hand hath gotten me this wealth. But thou shalt remember Yahweh thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth, and that he may establish his covenant, which he sware unto thy fathers, as it is this day. And it shall be, if thou do at all forget Yahweh thy God, and walk after other gods, and serve them and worship them, I testify against you this day, that ye shall surely perish. As the nations which Yahweh destroyed before your face, so shall ye perish, because ye would not be obedient unto the voice of Yahweh your God." Deuteronomy chapter 9. "Hear, O Israel, thou art to pass over Jordan this day, to go in to possess nations greater and mightier than thyself, cities great and fenced up to heaven, a people great and tall, the children of Anakims, whom thou knowest, and of whom thou hast heard say, Who can stand before the children of Anak? Understand therefore this day that Yahweh thy God is he which goeth over before thee as a consuming fire. He shall destroy them, and he shall bring them down before thy face. So shalt thou drive them out and destroy them quickly, as Yahweh hath said unto thee. Speak not thine in thy heart, after that Yahweh thy God hath cast them out from before thee, saying, For my righteousness Yahweh hath brought me in to possess this land. But for the wickedness of these nations Yahweh doth drive them out from before thee. Not for thy righteousness, or for the uprightness of thine heart, dost thou go to possess their land, but for the wickedness of these nations Yahweh thy God doth drive them out from before thee, and that he may perform the word which Yahweh sware unto thy fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Understand therefore that Yahweh thy God giveth thee not this good land to possess it for thy righteousness, for thou art a stiff-necked people. Remember and forget not how thou provokest Yahweh thy God to wrath in the wilderness, from the day that thou didst depart out of the land of Egypt until you came unto this place. Ye have been rebellious against Yahweh. Also in Horeb ye provoked Yahweh to wrath, so that Yahweh was angry with you to have devoured you. When I was gone up into the mount to receive the tables of stone, even the tables of the covenant, which Yahweh made with you, then I abode in the mount 40 days and 40 nights. I neither did eat bread nor drink water. And Yahweh delivered unto me 2 tables of stone, written with the finger of God. And on them was written according to all the words which Yahweh spake with you in the mount out of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly. And it came to pass at the end of 40 days and 40 nights that Yahweh gave me the 2 tables of stone, even the tables of the covenant. And Yahweh said unto me, Arise, get thee down from hence quickly, for thy people which thou hast brought forth out of Egypt have corrupted themselves. They are quickly turned aside out of the way which I commanded them. They have made them a molten image. Furthermore, Yahweh spake unto me, saying, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. Let me alone, that I may destroy them, and blot out their name from under heaven, and I will make of thee a nation mightier and greater than they. So I turned and came down from the mount, and the mount burned with fire, and the 2 tables of the covenant were in my 2 hands. And I looked, and behold, ye had sinned against Yahweh your God, and had made you a molten calf. Ye had turned aside quickly out of the way which Yahweh had commanded you. And I took the 2 tables and cast them out of my 2 hands and brake them before your eyes. And I fell down before Yahweh as at the first 40 days and 40 nights. I did neither eat bread nor drink water because of all your sins which ye sinned in doing wickedly in the sight of Yahweh to provoke him to anger. For I was afraid of the anger and hot displeasure wherewith Yahweh was wroth against you to destroy you. But Yahweh hearkened unto me at that time also. And Yahweh was very angry with Aaron to have destroyed him. And I prayed for Aaron also the same time, which I took your sin, the calf which ye had made, and burned it with fire, and stamped it, and ground it very small, even till it was as small as dust. And I cast the dust thereof into the brook that descendeth out of the mount. And at Taberah, and at Mesa, and at Kibroth Tavanna. Ye provoked Yahweh to wrath. Likewise, when Yahweh sent you from Kadesh Barnea, saying, Go up and possess the land which I have given you, then you rebelled against the commandment of the Lord your God, and ye believed him not, nor hearkened to his voice. Ye have been rebellious against Yahweh from the day that I knew you. Thus I fell down before Yahweh 40 days and 40 nights, as I fell down at the first, because Yahweh had said he would destroy you. I prayed, therefore, unto Yahweh, and said, O Yahweh God, destroy not thy people and thine inheritance, which thou hast redeemed through thy greatness, which thou hast brought forth out of Egypt with a mighty hand. Remember thy servants Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Look not unto the stubbornness of this people, nor to their wickedness, nor to their sin, lest the land which thou broughtest out say, because Yahweh was not able to bring them into the land which he promised them, and because he hated them, he hath brought them out to slay them in the wilderness. Yet they are thy people, and thy inheritance, which thou broughtest out of thy mighty power, and by thy stretched out hand. Deuteronomy chapter 10. At that time Yahweh said unto me, Hew thee 2 tables of stones like unto the first, and come up unto me into the mount, and make thee an ark of wood. And I will write on the tables the words that were on the first tables, which thou breakest, and thou shalt put them in the ark. And I made an ark of shittim wood, and hewed 2 tables of stone like unto the first, and went up into the mount, having the 2 tables in my hand. And he wrote on the tables according to the first writing, the 10 commandments, which Yahweh spake unto you in the mount out of the midst of the fire in the day of the assembly. And Yahweh gave them unto me, and I turned myself and came down from the mount, and put the tables in the ark which I had made. And there they be, as Yahweh commanded me. At that time Yahweh separated the tribe of Levi, to bear the ark of the covenant of Yahweh, to stand before Yahweh, to minister unto him, and to bless his name unto this day. Wherefore Levi hath no part nor inheritance with his brethren. Yahweh is his inheritance, according as Yahweh thy God promised him. And I stayed in the mount, according to the first time, 40 days and 40 nights. And Yahweh hearkened unto me at that time also, and Yahweh would not destroy thee. And Yahweh said unto me, Arise, take thy journey before the people, that they may go in and possess the land which I swear unto their fathers to give unto them. And now, Israel, what doth Yahweh thy God require of thee, but to fear Yahweh thy God, to walk in all his ways, and to love him, and to serve Yahweh thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul. To keep the commandments of Yahweh and his statutes, which I command thee this day for thy good. Behold, the heaven and the heaven of heavens is Yahweh's thy God, the earth also with all that is therein. Only Yahweh hath a delight in thy fathers to love them, and he chose their seed after them, even you, above all people, as it is this day. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked. For Yahweh your God is a God of gods and Lord of lords, a terrible God, a mighty and a terrible, which regardeth not persons, nor taketh reward. He doth execute the judgment of the fatherless and the widow, and loveth the stranger, and giving him food and raiment. Love ye therefore the stranger, for ye were strangers in the land of Egypt. Thou shalt fear Yahweh thy God, him shalt thou serve, and to him thou shalt cleave, and swear by his name. He is thy praise, and he is thy God, that hath done for thee these great and terrible things, which thine eyes have seen. Thy fathers went down into Egypt with 70 persons, and now Yahweh thy God hath made thee as the stars of the heaven for multitude. And that concludes our reading for today, for March the 15th. God bless you in Jesus' name.